Today we're going to talk about something that many of you can relate to, why Korean textbooks don't work in real-life conversations. As a teacher who has taught thousands of students from all over the world, I often hear the same things. I've studied Korean with so many textbooks, but I still can't speak well. I came to Korea to learn Korean, but I keep using English instead. I'm about to travel to Korea, but I don't know how to speak naturally. I live in Korea, but I'm afraid of making mistakes every time when I try to speak in Korean. If you've been studying Korean but still find it hard to talk with native speakers, this video is for you. If you want to speak naturally like a real Korean, stick around until the end. What I've noticed after teaching thousands of students from all over the world is that many struggle with real-life conversations, even though they've been studying with textbooks. Why is that? Well, many textbooks include phrases and grammar that Koreans rarely use in daily life. Sure, they're grammatically correct, but they sound stiff and awkward in conversation. Wouldn't it be great if the textbooks tell us this grammar is useful or this grammar isn't used often in real life? But they don't. Have you ever said something you learned from a textbook only to see the person look confused or respond in a completely different way? It's frustrating, right? Learning Korean isn't just about memorizing words and grammar. The important part is understanding how to use those words in real situations. For example, in textbooks, you might learn to introduce yourself as 안녕하세요. 제 이름은 모닝입니다. 한국어 선생님입니다. But in real life, you say 안녕하세요. 저는 모닝이라고 하고요. 한국어 선생님이에요. Which is simpler and more natural. Textbooks often teach overly formal or outdated language that people don't really use anymore. Like many of you, I study foreign languages myself, and I know how frustrating it is to put in time and effort only to find that you still can't speak comfortably. After seeing so many students spend time and money, I decided to focus on teaching real, living Korean expressions, 100% of what Koreans actually say. I started going to different places in Korea, restaurants, cafes, pharmacies, street food stalls, convenience stores, and film real-life conversations for this channel. I've gotten so many good comments from you guys saying how helpful it was to learn these real-life expressions. But since I plan, film, translate, and edit everything by myself, I realized it wasn't fast enough. So I thought, why not create a book that includes 100% real expressions for all sorts of places and situations in Korean? That way you can learn even faster than just watching my videos one by one. I spent months staying up late, working until 2 or 3 a.m. to create this book, and now, after a year of hard work, How to Speak Korean Like a Native is finally here. So, who is this book for? If you're planning to visit Korea, study here, work, or even live here, this book will be your guide. And if you've been living in Korea but still feel shy about speaking Korean, this book will help you build confidence. It covers 100 situations in 20 different places, so you'll easily learn and practice everything you need for daily life in Korea. No more awkward textbook phrases. Let's take a closer look at why other textbooks make speaking difficult and how my book solves these problems. I met a student who visited Korea last year, and I asked them how it felt to use Korean in real-life situations. They said, I can ask questions in Korean, but I can't understand the answers, so I still struggle to communicate. Traditional textbooks also teach various phrases depending on the situation or location, but they don't teach you how to understand the responses. That's why my book is structured with both questions and likely answers you will hear, so you can practice and understand both sides of the conversation. Some textbooks contain stiff and awkward expressions that Koreans don't actually use. For example, in one textbook, I saw the phrase 먹고 가나요, 가지고 가나요 for here or to go. It's understandable but unnatural. In reality, steps say, 드시고 가세요, 포장이세요. That's what I always said when I work part-time in a cafe, and it's what you will hear most often. That's why I replaces all the expressions in my book with the ones I've actually used and heard in real life. If you've studied Korean a lot but still can't speak, the reason is simple. Have you practiced saying the sentences out loud more than 10 times? Have you recorded yourself speaking and listened to it? If you just read through the pages without practicing out loud, your speaking skills won't improve. You need to speak, record yourself, listen to the recording, and correct your mistakes through repetition. Some textbooks don't provide listening files or opportunities to practice speaking, but my book is different. Its unit includes a listening QR code that takes you to audio recordings on my YouTube channel. The listening videos are structured in 3 steps. First, listen to the dialogue. Second, record your response. Third, compare your voice with the original audio and practice the parts you struggled with. It might feel awkward to hear your own voice at first, but giving yourself feedback will help your speaking skills improve. I'll show you how to practice it yourself. First, open the audio file on the left side and the book on the right side. And listen to the audio once.
Unit 8. When asking for menu recommendations. First, listen to the dialogue.
여기 잘 나가는 메뉴가 뭐예요? 불고기가 제일 잘 나가요. 메뉴 좀 추천해 주세요. 치즈 떡볶이 많이 드세요. 여기서 어떤 메뉴가 잘 나가요? 전부 다 맛있어요.
Then prepare to record using a computer or your phone and record yourself while speaking the customer's part.
Now, let's record your voice. When you hear the sound, pause and try recording the customer's part yourself.
여기 잘 나가는 메뉴가 뭐예요?
여기 잘 나가는 메뉴가 뭐예요? 불고기가 제일 잘 나가요.
메뉴 좀 추천해 주세요.
메뉴 좀 추천해 주세요. 치즈 떡볶이 많이 드세요.
여기서 어떤 메뉴가 잘 나가요?
여기서 어떤 메뉴가 잘 나가요? 전부 다 맛있어요.
Listen to your voice again and compare it with the dialogue.
After that, listen to your record and give yourself feedback. It's easy, right? I've kept the audio recordings at the same speed as real native speakers, so you can get used to the speed Korean actually speak. If it's too fast at first, you can slow down the playback. Once you're comfortable, I recommend speeding up again. When I looked at other Korean textbooks, many of them either didn't have pronunciation guides or had pronunciation that was difficult to follow. So every sentence of the dialogue in my book is written with romanization, the Korean script, and its English meaning. I focused especially on the pronunciation. Korean has rules like linking sounds or irregular pronunciations, so if you read Hangul exactly as it's written, the pronunciation can sometimes sound unnatural. For example, 음료수 should be pronounced 음료수. This is a pronunciation irregularity that foreign learners often wouldn't know about. That's why I made sure to reflect these irregularities in the pronunciation guide. If you see something that looks like a typo, it's probably because of these pronunciation rules. I saw a sentence in another book that wrote 서울역으로 가주세요 as this, which is difficult to read and not entirely accurate. In my book, I split the syllables to make it easier. 서울역으로 가주세요. But remember, Korean and English don't share 100% the same sounds, so don't rely solely on the romanization to study. Make sure to learn Hangul first and then use the pronunciation guides as a reference. Lastly, one thing that makes this book really special, When you buy most textbooks and have questions, there's no one to ask. It's not easy to ask the author, so you have to search online for answers, but my book is different. If you have questions while studying, just scan the QR code and leave a comment on the audio files video. Other students probably have the same questions you're curious, so feel free to ask as much as you need. I reply as quickly as I can to help you. Some of you might be wondering, but you're native Korean. How do you know what expressions foreigners need when they're in Korea? Well, before I became a Korean teacher, I worked as an English tour guide. Every day, I guided more than 40 foreign tourists around Korea. And I answered hundreds of questions, so I understand exactly what expressions you will need in different places and situations from the foreigner's perspective. As an expert of both fields, I packed my book with everything you'll need. On the second page of each unit, you'll find practical vocabulary and tips for each situation. This includes not only Korean culture, but also questions I've frequently been asked as a tour guide, making this book useful for anyone traveling or living in Korea. Some of you might also wonder, why should I buy a book when I can just search for everything on YouTube? Well, when I plan videos for my channel, I watch a lot of Korean learning videos, and I've seen many large channels that just translate Korean through machine translation. I've also seen Korean learning videos made by non-Koreans, but they often miss out on capturing 100% of what native speakers really say. If you want to save your time and be sure you're learning natural expressions, my book will help you do just that quickly and easily. If you want to move beyond textbook Korean and start speaking like a native, How to Speak Korean Like a Native is the guide for you. The book is available as an ebook, so you can download it and start learning right away. As a special gift to you and my subscribers, the first 500 people will get a 25% discount, so don't miss out. For more details and to buy the book, please check out the link in the description and pinned comment below. And just imagine what if in 100 days you could confidently speak Korean? With this book, you can practice 1 unit a day and build your skills step by step. By the end, you will be able to order food, ask for directions, and chat with locals with confidence. For next, I'm also planning to create videos showing real-life conversations using the phrases from this book, so stay tuned for that. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment. What's been your biggest challenge in learning Korean? I'd love to help. See you in the next video, and remember, speaking real-life Korean is totally within your reach.